Hi, everyone. Welcome to the live webinar, What's New, ENOVIA R2021x FD07. I know everyone's been waiting anxiously for this one. We have a lot of great topics to cover. So before we get into it, I just want to cover a couple housekeeping things. So if you haven't gone there yet and you're watching this on YouTube, there is a link down below in the description that will bring you to the ENOVIA user community right here, where you can see our wonderful event post. Now this, you can actually stream live right in the community if you want, which is very convenient. You can also click through to learn about our speakers, which, by the way, on the call today, we have Naeem, Anat, Rick, and Prasad. Wave hello, guys. They're very excited to speak with you. And of course, if you can't get enough, we have our entire webinar series down below, all available on demand for your viewing pleasure. We know everyone likes to binge watch in the summer, so hop on in there when you get a shot. Last thing here, because this is a live webinar, you will have an opportunity to ask your questions. So, and they will get answered live at the end. It's pretty refreshing. All you have to do is ask your question here in the comment section. In addition, if you don't have a question, you just want to say hello to Rick or Naeem, do that as well, or let us know how we're doing. Let us know what topics you'd like to see in future webinars. We're really excited to get your feedback, your comments, and your questions will be addressed live. And if you happen to miss the live version of this webinar, we encourage you to still ask your questions here, and the entire team will be hopping in over the course of the next couple weeks and continuing to answer questions. So with all that being said, I'm going to pass the ball to Naeem, and we're going to start up this webinar.
Everyone, my name is Naeem Dalal. I'm the ENOVIA Portfolio Marketing Director, and I would like to welcome you to the new session of What's New. And this time we are going to talk about the new enhancements of 21x FD07. And today with me, I have in my team Anat, Prasad, and Rick. And we are all together going to describe to you these new amazing enhancements in different themes and disciplines, as you know. So we have a big list of enhanced roles in this release. This is the major ones of them. You can see the complete list in the official documentation. And today we are going to focus on the majority of these disciplines in this in the ENOVIA portfolio. As you can see, we organized all of the ENOVIA roles under a specific discipline or disciplines in each one of these portfolio themes. So now we will start with the collaborative innovation. As usual, we will start with the collaborative industry innovator, which is one of the basic roles of ENOVIA, the CSV. And in this role, we have enhanced the bookmark editor, the change action, the compare tool, and also the route management widget. So we'll start first with the route management template, with the route management widget, sorry. In this widget, we can now create not just routes, but we can also create templates. So that's great news, because now you don't have to do it elsewhere. You can create your route templates directly from within this widget. You can update them, you can delete them, you can do all the management that is required from a single widget, where you can also create the templates, the routes themselves. So this is a great way to generate your templates, and also to see the list of all the route templates which are available for the organization in a single location. Another enhancement is related to the change action, and within the change action you have now a new tab which is called Approvals, and this tab basically will show you the route that is coming or initiated through the route template that is attached to the change action when the change action is promoted to an approval. Because when we sometimes want to manage the approvals, not through members, specific members, but through a route, then we attach a route template. to the change action. And once the change action is promoted to in approval lifecycle state, then this route will show up under this tab. Now you have two ways to view this. It could be a graphical way, such as what we see here, or it could be a grid view. So depends on the way you want to work with this route. Note that from within this, and that's one of the biggest values here, is that you can directly open the task, you can react to it, so you can reject it, you can approve it, you can write a comment, and so on. You can do directly all these activities directly from the route here, and you can also change the assignee. So it's a great way to make you understand what's happening with the change action in terms of approvals, because this view gives you also the state of each one of the tasks, so you can see what has been completed, what is still in draft mode, and what tasks are to do. Okay, so now let's see how this works. So we have here a route template that is released, so I can use it in the definition of the change action. And now I want to attach this route template directly as a member to the change action. So I go to the approver and directly I add the whole template. And let's say we want now to approve this change action. So we promote this change action to in approval state. And now if I go to this tab, I see now the route with all the tasks the way they were defined. And I have two ways to see this. I can see it in a grid view or in a graphical view. And from the task of the route, you can see here I can directly open it, and I can decide to approve it, write comments, react to it, approve it, or reject it if needed. Everything can be done directly from a single location, which makes it very easy to not just to react to these or to approve the change action, but at least to give you a visual way of understanding what's happening with the change action in terms of its approvals.
You can now use the new find in tree command in the left pane of the bookmark editor app to search for a specific bookmark. Bookmarks matching to a text search are automatically highlighted, and bookmark structure is expanded to show the matching bookmarks. You can also use the navigation button to navigate through the matching bookmarks. With these enhancements, you can now use the new folder upload functionality to upload your local assets, that is folder, to the 3D Experience platform. It is important to note that this functionality is only available on cloud, and you can only select one folder to upload. The selected folder and its subfolders are uploaded as bookmarks and subbookmarks in the current bookmark, while files within the folders are uploaded as documents in their respective bookmarks. Now let's take a look at the demo of this functionality. Let us review local assets before uploading them to the 3D Experience platform. Once review is complete, you can start your upload by clicking on Folder Upload function in the Document section of the Bookmark Editor app. You can select the folder you want to upload and click on the upload. You can also review the summary of your upload before starting your upload process. One of the good things is it shows you a real-time upload progress in the upload dialog box. This is particularly helpful when your size of your upload is big. As soon as upload is complete, Upload Success dialog box appears, which shows you the number of bookmarks that are created and the files that are uploaded. You can also see the status of individual bookmark and files in the success column. Now you can browse through the bookmark and start your collaboration. With this enhancement, your administrator can now configure the default lifecycle state of newly created bookmarks using Collaborative Spaces and Configuration Center widget. You can see by default this checkbox is clear and newly created bookmarks are created in draft state. When this checkbox is selected, newly created bookmarks are created in in-work state. However, this is important to note that this configuration does not affect the bookmark root or bookmarks created in collaborations and approvals app.
Let's review now the new enhancements in the discipline of program and project management.
On Project Planner, I assume you remember this role is available on cloud only. Now you can navigate the task deliverables in 3D Navigate to highlight the associated 3D. You click on the task itself, and then the deliverables will be highlighted and focused in the 3D Navigate widget. If several deliverables are connected to the task, you can navigate from one to the next using the arrows at the top side of the 3D Navigate widget. The new highlight is available from the task, the schedule, and also from the collaborative task. It supports both project tasks and non-project tasks. Previously, when opening or loading project planning widget, the latest view was loaded and displayed. If I closed, for example, my session while I was working on a particular project, this project would be loaded automatically next time. Now we added a new preference, allowing you to determine and lock the preferred project, which will be loaded and displayed by default whenever the widget is loaded. To do that, you need to navigate to the desired project and then open the preferences and lock the particular project as a startup project. When deleting a project, instead of deleting it permanently, the system will move it to deleted project kind of recycle bin, which is a new section in the project planning homepage. Then you can restore it, the deleted project if needed. The deleted projects are kept in the recycle bin only for 30 days, and you have an indication how many days are left before the project will be deleted permanently. Once you decide to restore the project, it will be moved to either all projects or also my projects list, just like it was before it was deleted. With this enhancement, you can now add We Do tasks from community into the project. Easily, you just select the We Do task, drag and drop it onto the project root node. Once added, the We Do task gets scheduled and it is visible to all project members, and it behaves like any other project task. So in this example, I have a task, and you can note that this task has 3 deliverables. Each of them has a 3D model. And therefore, I can now navigate and highlight those deliverables in the 3D Navigate to better understand and visualize the task results. This cross-highlight is available from the task and also from the schedule facets of project planning, as you can see here, and also from the collaborative task widget. Now, since this FD We Do task from Swim community can be added into a selected project, easily by selecting the We Do task, drag and drop it from the community on the project root node. When the We Do is added to the project, it becomes a project task which you can schedule and work on. On the home page of the project planning, we have now a new section for deleted projects. You can easily restore deleted projects within 30 days and move it back to the list of projects. In Project Manager, we have a few new enhancements related to risk management widget and also to the Gantt chart view. So many people are involved in risk management, however, not all of them are specialists in the field. Therefore, we found it necessary to guide them more in the risk management process. So this enhancement is to generate a notification on the risk when a mitigation task is complete, in order to guide and encourage the risk owner to reevaluate the risk and update its rating accordingly. In addition, the grid view has an action plan column with a new icon indicating the status of the risk's action plan. Couple of improvements to allocate and remove assignees quicker than before. You can now add assignees simply by drag and drop one or more users' names from the global search to the assignees column in the table grid view. Previously, you could remove yourself from assignment with, by using multiple clicks. Now you can do that with one click because we added a new icon named Remove Self-Assignee, which is available in the Property panel. When creating a new risk out of the box, there is a field to set the risk type, which includes a list of values, for example, cost, quality, technical schedule, and more. But the list is quite limited. Now, since this FD, you can extend the out-of-the-box risk type list without adding any custom types. And to do that, we provide the ability to classify risks libraries directly within the risk management widget. And you can also set the values of the classification attributes directly in the same tab. To support that, we introduced a new dedicated tab called Classification, which is available in the Property panel of the risk. Now the extended classification definition are added and displayed among the out-of-the-box type of risk in the summary chart. It is now possible to filter risks in summary view by clicking on the chart, any area of the chart. The filtered data applies both to the summary view as well as to the grid view. The applied filter is also visible in the tagger. So when you open the 6W tag, you see the applied filter. So you can continue refine the risk using the tagger. And you can also, if you want to clear the filter, you can do that either from the tagger or from the clicking the chart again. You can now define quickly the risk rating while creating a new risk, because the heat map chart is available in the create new dialog of the risk. So by clicking on any cell in the heat map chart, a tick mark will appear and the risk impact, probability, and risk rating will be calculated automatically. You can now modify the % complete in the Gantt chart view, either in the table side by entering the value, typing the value, or using the spinner here, and on the graph side by using the slider and move it along the taskbar. We added alerts to the user when there is a constraint violation or dependency conflict because of changes in the schedule. The alert messages provide the user various options to select how to proceed. For example, here we have two tasks with a finish to start dependency between them. When attempting to start task 2 before task 1 ends, we tend to break the dependency. So the system gives us a message, an alert about this conflict, and propose either to cancel the action, the change of the task, or to cancel the dependency. So now when creating a new risk in the risk management widget, the risk heat map is available and you can click on the cell to choose the risk rating. The impact and probability will be calculated automatically. We improve the usability of assigning users to a risk. I can simply select users from the search results and drag and drop them into the Assignees column to assign them to the risk. Now, if you are the login user and you are also assigned to the risk, Since this FD, you have an available icon in the property panel allows you to easily remove yourself as assignee of the risk. After creating the risk, you can set the action plan and include a mitigation task to resolve the risk. Now, since this FD, we added an icon to the risk action plan column in the table view, indicating the status of the mitigation task. And you can note that the icon has been changed and now it indicates the plan exists. Now you can classify the risk directly from the risk management widget without going into another application. The new classification is automatically displayed in the summary view. Another nice enhancement is the ability to filter the risk from the summary view by clicking on the chart. Because the filtering is done using the tagger, you can see the applied filter and clear it through the tagger UI or by clicking on the same chart again. Remember the mitigation task we added to the risk action plan? So not only we have an indication in the table view, but when the mitigation task completes, the risk owner receives a notification and then can update the risk status accordingly. So this is the notification. And here also in the table, you can see the icon has been changed and indicating that the plan is completed. Let's take a look on the Gantt chart improvements. The first task has a constraint that it must start on June 21st. Now, if I try to change the start date of this task, I receive a message from the system with an option to either cancel my change or to remove the constraint. Here is another example. I have finished to start dependency between the two tasks. When trying to change the schedule and start the second task before the first one ends, I also get a message with an option to cancel my change or canceling the dependency. Last but not least, I can change the % complete directly from the Gantt chart by using the slider and move it along the taskbar. Project Portfolio Manager is a role available on-premise and on cloud, but all enhancements in this FD are only on cloud. The first one, there is a new page that is available, Issue Analysis, dedicated to issues related to projects. Only issues created against a project, a task, a milestone, or a gate are taken into account. Using this page, you can identify, for example, opened issues by priority, by maturity. You can see the number of issues opened per period of time, outdated issues, and so on. S-curve graph is now available also for a selected project in the overview page. It shows the progress of work over time and allows the progress of the project to be monitored effectively. And this one is related to all charts with time as x-axis. Are now replaced with a new time chart, which allows to zoom and allows to do some date filtering.
Let's review now the enhancements of the discipline Configure Product Development. So in the Product Release Engineer or XEN, we have a lot of enhancements here. Let's review the major ones that have been introduced in this release. And we will start with a new tab that is dedicated for specification documents. If you remember, when we create or when we add a specification document to the engineering item, it appears in the same list of engineering items in the widget. However, there is a new preference now that will allow you simply to create or to automatically create a new tab that will hold all these specification documents under this tab in the information panel. So this way you can separate engineering items and specification documents that will be in their own tab dedicated for these types of documents. And it's a way to organize your content. You want to focus just on your engineering items without combining any specification documents within the same list. You can use this option, which is available in the preferences of the widget. Another enhancement, which also depends on a preference, is the ability to create engineering items of type electronic items. So in case your engineering definition should contain items which are electronic type of items, you have also a new preference for that, which you can select, which is called Allow Creation of Electronic Items. And once this option is selected, then during the creation of engineering items, I have another list, as we can see here in the image, which allows me to create electronic items of type printed circuit board, assembly, or CBD, or electronic physical components. There is also a new way now to filter your engineering definition to focus and to show only what has been defined as manufacturable or procurable items. This is an existing option which you can switch on and off depending on the way you want to define the engineering item. So you can do this directly from the widget or from the properties of the item. Usually the target of this option to define some kind of a container, let's say, of the engineering items, such as in the case of Phantom. So we want to combine different engineering items under another item. However, itself, it's not something we manufacture. It's not something we procure. It's something that is more of a placeholder. However, if I want the system to show me what is beneath it, then this option will be a good choice because it will filter the whole engineering definition to show you all these items which are manufacturable or procurable. And it goes through the whole assembly or through the whole structure, and it will show you only those ones which have been selected as flagged as such items in the structure. If you're working in the native and you want the system to capture the definition of enterprise item number, this is now available. Sometimes we work in a native client for the definition, not just for the design, but also to define the enterprise item number. However, so far it was not possible to capture this in the realized changes, but now it is possible that when you define an enterprise item number under the authority of a change action, then this event will be captured in the realized changes of the change action as modified. So this way you have notification that this enterprise item number has been updated while working within the native client. There is also a new business logic, which is available for both native and web app. And it's a post-business logic, which is based on the enterprise item number. The idea is that when I create or I modify an enterprise item number, this content needs to be visible somewhere else, needs to be copied into another attribute of the engineering item. So by default, this business logic will copy this enterprise item number into the title of the engineering item once you create it. So when I use the option to set an enterprise item number, the trigger will be copying this content into the title of the engineering item. And this is valid everywhere. It's in the web apps, for example, for the engineering release or a product structure editor, as well as in the native apps, such as CATIA product structure design, where we can create and generate enterprise item numbers. So let's see how these enhancements are available now in the product. Okay, so now I'm adding a new specification document to my engineering definition. So I'm just picking up a PDF file from my local hard drive. And by default, it is available as part of the engineering definition. However, I want sometimes to add this as part of a tab in the information panel. Currently, this tab does not exist because the option in the preference was not switched on. So what I do, I switch on this option to show specification documents in the information tab. And from now on, the tab will exist and any specification document will automatically be moved to this tab. So this way I can organize, I can separate engineering items and specification documents in two different locations in the widget. Okay. Another preference that has been developed here is to allow the creation of electronic items. When I select this option in the preference of the widget, then the system will allow me to create new engineering items of type electronic items. And we have three types, as you can see here. So I'm creating a new PCB, for example, here, which is the electronic item that is part of my engineering definition. And if I want to create further children of electronic types under this, I open this electronic item and I continue creating new engineering items, again, of type electronic items such as CBD board or the other type of electronic physical component. So again, this way, we can now enrich the engineering definition to have not just mechanical engineering item, but also electronic components that can be part of this engineering definition. And that's something that can be further designed, obviously, in the CAD applications, such as when I work with a PCB or a new resistor that is also available as part of the children of my new PCB here. So now we're talking about the manufacturable procurable. So this flag can be switched on and off, and I want just to focus on those engineering items where this flag is not switched on, which means that I'm not interested in the intermediate engineering item. I'm interested in what has been defined under beneath it. So I want to focus on that, and that's why there is a new filter which will go through the complete definition of the engineering definition, the whole structure, and it will filter and will show me only the manufacturable procurable items, again, for design purposes or for manufacturing purposes and so on. Here we see in the change action the new enhancement now. I want to capture the event of the creation of the enterprise item number in the native app. Okay, so I'm creating now the enterprise item number. I'm in the native and I'm working under a change action. So once I save the changes I have done on this assembly, then first of all, we see the new enterprise item number. It is updated under the engineering item properties. And if I refresh my widget here, I can see that the event has been captured as modify in the realized changes. Another enhancement is the business logic, which is triggered after the creation of the enterprise item number in the engineering item. The target of this business logic is to copy the enterprise item number value into the title of the same enterprise engineering item. And that's happening as a post trigger. So once we deploy this business logic, we will see now how it works both in the native now and later on in the web. So I'm in the native now. I'm selecting different engineering items and I create their enterprise item numbers. Okay, so this is something that was done in the background. So the number itself comes from specific formula. And you can see now that the titles have been copied from the same enterprise item number value. So that is in the native, and it's also this functionality is available now in the web client. So the same scenario, I am multi-selecting here different engineering items and I set their enterprise item number. And you can see now that the title has also been changed and it has exactly the same value as the enterprise item number, thanks to the business logic. We will review now the new enhancements in the Change Manager, CHG, which has two applications. The first one is also an enhancement that is available in the Collaborative Industry Innovator CSV, because the change action is available also in this role. And within this enhancement, a new tab now is available called Approvals, and this tab will show you the route that has been attached to the change action as a route template. And the route here will be instantiated from the template once the change action is promoted to in approval. So this way you have a visibility on the content of the route, and you can also approve or reject or change assignee directly from within this route, which is available in two different views. One is the graphical view that we see here, and the other one is a grid view. So you can switch between one of them depending on the information you are interested to view. The second enhancement is the ability to group different change actions under one group. And I want to highlight here that we are not talking about change order grouping. We're talking about a group, and this group can have multiple change actions. And the target of this enhancement is to enable you to work efficiently in the case of concurrent modifications which need to be applied on the same object. So in this case, we create a group and we attach different change actions, and the users can start working concurrently on these different change actions which contain the same object. And at the end, all the realized changes will be available from any one of these change actions. So the responsible person of this group will have a visibility on the modifications going into one of those change actions. I don't have to open both of them and compare realized changes. One of them can give me all this content because there is a way to filter the content to see all the content that was modified in a group. So it's the combination of the realized changes of all the change actions, or simply to focus on the modifications or the realized changes that have been captured by a specific change action inside this group. Now note that the change action must be in a draft state in order to be able to attach it to a group, and you can attach the change action only to a single group, so you cannot share the same change action to different groups. So let's see how this works. Okay, we have here Scott. He's a lead engineer, and he's responsible for the landing gear, and he can analyze the current situation of the landing gear, and he will see that there are different change orders which are governing this version of the landing gear, thanks to the relations widget, which gives me this complete visibility. So he decides to create two different change actions and to group them into a single group, and these two change actions will be assigned to different engineers in his group or in his team, so people can work concurrently. So we have now Jack, we have Mike. Each one of them will be assigned as the responsible or the assignee for the work to be done in this landing gear. And each one of them will start working in the engineering on the engineering definition of the landing gear concurrently. So we can see both of them are replacing contents or the revising and so on. Both of them are working on the same version of the landing gear. So all this content obviously is captured by the change action thanks to the work under. And at the end, the lead engineer will have this visibility on what has been modified thanks to the content that he will now review in the realized changes. So it's enough to open one of those change actions in order to validate and approve these updates. So he can pick up one of them and he can see the complete changes inside the realized changes, which are the realized changes of the whole group. Or if to focus on a specific change action, then he can simply deselect this option, and then he will be able to see only those changes which have been applied to that specific change action. So he has all this visibility that will help him to make the right decisions when approving these updates, which have happened on the same landing gear.
Let us review enhancements in the product manager role. You can now compare configuration rules of model version using compare widget. You can drag and drop model versions in the compare widget to compare their configuration rules. The widget compares configuration rules based on their name attributes and returns the status of the comparison. It is important to note that compare widget does not compare the configuration rules based on their content. Let us now go through the demo video of this functionality. Let us compare revision A and revision B for their configuration rules. But before that, let us review their configuration rules one by one. You can start comparison by simply dragging one of the revision in the compare widget. When you click on compare, comparison starts and compare widget returns the status of the comparison. You can see two rules that exist only in revision B are flagged as a write only in the compare widget. With these enhancements, you can now select custom model version subtypes while creating a new model version. If your administrator has defined a subtype, it is available for selection in the type field of the new model version dialog box. A type column now appears by default in the My Model Versions page. It contains default model version and custom model version subtypes. You can also group model version based on the subtypes displayed in the type column. Your administrator can now create custom group of attribute and assign them to variability types like variant, variant value, option group, option using Enterprise IP Schema Specialization app. Once assigned, you can access and update values for these attributes from the properties panel of the object.
Collaborative Designer for AutoCAD introduces a couple of new enhancements, beginning with UDL support for drawing visualization. UDL, or Unified Drawing Light, allows design stakeholders working on the platform to access 2D drawings and visualize and mark them up directly on the platform. Local file management is an enhancement that is also being introduced for two other roles, namely Collaborative Designer for Inventor and Collaborative Designer for Solid Edge. This enhancement allows users working in the CAD session to both open as well as delete drawings while working in the session. Here we see that when the drawing is saved from the CAD session, the system automatically creates the UDL file, which is linked to the specific revision of the drawing. Subsequently, other stakeholders on the platform can open the drawing in 3D Play or 3D Markup to visualize and annotate the content. For local file management, existing drawings can be edited or deleted from within the design session, improving the ability to manage the drawings. From within the Cache Management tool, we can select drawings through the embedded filters to delete or launch them into session. Collaborative Designer for Inventor introduces an additional enhancement beyond the ones we saw introduced in the Collaborative Designer for AutoCAD. On-demand synchronization of attributes eliminates the need to open and close the entire CAD session to synchronize updated attributes from the platform. Let's take a closer look at this enhancement. Here, attributes are updated on the platform from within the design session. To synchronize them with the attributes in the current session, we can now refresh them to update the local content. Selecting the new command Get Attributes for All forces the system to update the attributes without having to refresh the entire session. For Collaborative Designer for NX, we introduce a number of new features. We can now create exact geometry as one of our derived outputs, which allows it to be utilized by a number of applications on the platform, such as the 3D Product Architect. The next enhancement, along with the following ones, is available in this role as well as the Collaborative Designer for Creo Parametric. Here we have the ability to open multiple designs from the bookmark, saving time on launching them into session. We also introduced the ability to save native drawings as derived output, which makes them available to non-CAD stakeholders to visualize and annotate them in 3D Play or 3D Markup applications. Multicast structures can now be opened in context within the NX session, improving the design environment. Let's take a closer look. Here we open a multicad structure into NX, providing us with a more complete design context. Launch NX from the compass, we load the selected engineering definition and the additional subassemblies that were created in other CAD applications. Here we see that the NX has loaded the representation of these other designs into session. Collaborative Designer for Creo Parametric introduces one unique enhancement beyond the ones we saw in the Collaborative Designer for NX. The PDC Development Toolkit is no longer required for the installation on the client, which reduces the complexity as well as the number of steps required to install the product. Collaborative Designer for Altium Designer contains a number of new enhancements. They are shared with our other ECAD solution, Collaborative Designer for Cadence. The first of these is support for native variants within Altium, such that the system uniquely recognizes and captures information about each variant in the design when it is saved to the platform. With these captured variants, we can also create explicit links to manufacturing documents for robust definition across disciplines. Furthermore, these managed documents can be revised directly within the session. Let's take a closer look at these enhancements. Native variants, which represent unique board configurations, will be saved and recognized on the platform. For this example, 2 variants of the board exist in the design, along with the core data representing content for all variants. We can save the variants with the associated board structure and related information. Manufacturing output can be directly attached to the variants to better facilitate the manufacturing process. Manufacturing documents are automatically linked with the appropriate variants and are recognized in the prompt to save them to the platform. Along with capturing the manufacturing output documents within the design session, we have streamlined their development. We can now revise the documents from within the design session. All subsequent revisions of the manufacturing output are accessible from within the product structure. Collaborative Designer for Cadence Allegro contains an additional enhancement beyond the ones shared with the Collaborative Designer for Altium. The ability to access the classification libraries during save allows you to update the classification attributes shared between the design environment and the library. For Collaborative Designer for CATIA v5, we have a powerful new enhancement that allows multiple CATIA v5 environments to be used from the platform, so let's take a closer look. We now support design scenarios where different versions of CATIA v5 are needed within design development. Select the appropriate version of CATIA v5 on launch from the available environments, allowing you to then save into the appropriate version. For the Conversion Data Integrator for IFC, we can now choose a CRS or Coordinate Reference System based on ones available in the current collaborative space during the import of an IFC file. For the Logical Product Architect, we now introduce a new cross-schema detection capability within the Convergence report. This new ability allows us to check for dependencies between logical references and their linked schemas, regardless of the discipline the schematic is associated to. The new status info has also been added to allow you to better define the states of the queues in the report. Let's take a closer look at this enhancement. We can select the new category to improve our understanding of the overall maturity of the logical definition, along with the existing categories. First, we select to activate in the report, and then choose the status of the computed convergence from a list that now includes the additional status of info. After setting those persistent parameters, we can select the components from the architecture and compute their convergence status. We note that the symbols of the various statuses are reported in their own column, and a mouse over exposes the report results. Computed convergence information is then available by selecting any of the status symbols, and then reported in detail so you may perform corrective actions.
So this is the end of our session today of the new enhancements of 21x FD07. I hope this was beneficial for you guys, and I would like to thank every one of you who attended our session today. And I hope to see you again in our next What's New session coming up very soon. Thank you.
can't hear you, Matthew.
Matthew, you need to unmute yourself.
Oh, everyone, sorry. I just love these live webinars. Well, anyway, thank you for watching. That was a great presentation. Thank you, Naeem and team. Hope everyone enjoyed it. We encourage you, please ask your questions in the user community. For those of you who have joined late, again, the link is below in this YouTube video. It will bring you to the live webinar post in the user community. And I don't believe we have any questions yet, so we're probably going to let you go for now. Oh, we just had a comment come in. So someone's active here. Let's see. Is the toolkit required for NX still?
Yes, the NX toolkit is still required. I know it's a target for removal as well, but currently it is still required for the NX installation.
Okay, hope that answers. Thank you, Kip, for your question. Anyone else? Give you a moment here. In the meantime, just want to remind you, if you want to check out the rest of our webinars, scroll down in this post. You can click here. It'll bring you to the wiki page. This has all of our deep dive webinar replays, all of our key release highlight webinars, including the one you just viewed. We have a new section for knowledge base and best practice webinars, and the topics go on and on. This is a great wealth of knowledge. We encourage you to check it out. So let's just check back on our questions. Is there a date for starting FD07? That's the latest question that just came in.
I guess the question is, when they say rollout, I assume they're referring to on the cloud servers or what?
They did not specify.
Is it about the release of the... Let's see.
Madeline, who asked the question, sorry if I get your name wrong, if you could give a little more detail of your question. If you could add a comment to elaborate that. She didn't say that. Is there any change in P&O? That's a question from Sachin.
So regarding the previous question, just to mention, on the cloud, the plan for FD07 is to be available in September.
Okay, great.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's for Madeline. And for Sachin, is there any change in P&O? Who can field that question?
We haven't seen any major change. If there are minor changes, probably they could be there, but we haven't been exposed to any major change. And when we discussed with R&D, it was not the case. So we can say in general there are no major changes in P&O. There are no changes. Yeah. Okay.
We got another question here from Kip. Is there a change action template available yet?
Not yet. As a template of a change action, the way we know it from the change order, it is not yet available. But it's a good question. I know this is required. It's a good enhancement, but currently it's not yet available in this release.
Okay. Let's see if we got any more questions. That might be it for now. Give one more moment here. Anyone have any questions?
Just one more thing about the change action. There is a way that you can add, it's not a template, but it's a new subtype, which you can create. You can customize it. You can create a new subtype of the change action, and you can use it when you create a new change action of that specific subtype. That is already available.
Kip says, can you share the code for the EIN event? The PowerPoint. So yeah, I'm sorry. We apologize. We noticed the PowerPoint was a little blurry during the presentation, so we'll be looking into that.
Can we share the code? Yes, we can share the code. So we'll add it to the comment here. Sure.
Okay, and I think a couple more came in. This is a popular one. Let's see. Oh, also, can you share the PowerPoint from today? We typically don't share the PowerPoint, but we could share probably the PDF version. Is that okay, Naeem?
We can share the PDF, right? Yeah.
Okay.
And for those who have access, just those who have access to my offer, it is already available in my offer, but we can also share a PDF copy here as well.
Okay. Yep, we'll do that. So I'll be attaching that PDF to this post so everyone can peruse the PDF version of the presentation. Yeah. And that might be concluding our questions. Again, if you didn't get your question in time here today, please continue to add it to this post, and our team will go in and respond in the comment section. So I think that's it. So we're gonna close it out on behalf of the team, and I'll let the team wave goodbye too. It was great having everyone here. We really enjoy doing these presentations, and we hope you'll tune in for the next one coming up. Now, be sure to check in the community. We'll be explaining soon what's next. I believe we'll have a role deep dive for you. So stay tuned. Until next time, adios.
Yep.
See you. Bye-bye.